The medical wing of Station Arc-9 was never quiet. Machines hummed softly. Lights blinked in slow patterns. Alien voices moved in low, careful tones. Humans were rare here, and injured humans were even rarer. The man lay on the white medical bed, his left arm wrapped in glowing fabric. His name was Ethan. He was not a soldier, not a hero, just a cargo engineer who had been in the wrong place when pirates attacked his ship. Now he was here. He watched the ceiling slowly change color as the station adjusted its light cycle. His chest hurt when he breathed too deep, but he stayed calm. Humans learned that panic never helped. Footsteps approached. She entered quietly. The alien nurse moved with careful steps, as if the floor might break if she walked too hard. She was tall and slim, her skin a smooth shade of deep blue that shifted slightly with her mood. Thin silver lines ran along her neck and arms. Her eyes were dark and focused. Her uniform was a soft green color. She did not look at Ethan at first. She checked the screen beside his bed. She adjusted the machines. She prepared an injection. Ethan watched her work. She was different from the other nurses. They rushed. They avoided eye contact. This one moved slowly, like every action mattered. When she finally spoke, her voice was calm but distant. "Pain level?" she asked. "Manageable," Ethan replied. She nodded and continued her work. For a moment, there was only the sound of machines and distant voices. Then Ethan noticed it. The green of her uniform matched the soft glow of her skin in a strange way. It made her look steady, balanced, like the color belonged to her. He did not plan to speak. The words came out on their own. "You look perfect in this color." The room stopped. The machines went silent for half a second, as if even they were shocked. The nurse froze. Her hand trembled. Her skin color shifted. Fast. Blue turned lighter. Then bright. Then pale. Her eyes widened. She swayed. Ethan sat up slightly. "Hey, are you okay?" She did not answer. Another nurse looked up from across the room. An alien doctor turned sharply. A medical drone paused midair. The alien nurse took one step back. Then she collapsed. The alarm screamed. Red light filled the room. Medical staff rushed in. 2 aliens caught her before she hit the floor. Someone shouted orders in a sharp alien language. The doctor waved a hand over her head, scanning her vitals. Ethan stayed, confused. I just, he said, trying to explain. No one looked at him. They placed the nurse on another bed. Her skin color flickered wildly, like a broken signal. Green, blue, white. Emotional shock, the doctor said, his voice tight. "That's not possible," another nurse replied. "Not from a patient." The doctor checked the data again. "It is possible," he said slowly, if the trigger was a bonding phrase. The room grew colder. Ethan felt it. "Bonding?" he asked. "I don't understand." The doctor turned to him. His eyes were sharp. "Careful. What exactly did you say to her?" the doctor asked. Ethan swallowed. "I said she looked perfect in that color." Silence returned, heavier than before. The doctor's face changed. "Fear. Not anger. Not confusion. Fear. That phrase," the doctor said, "is not used casually." "I was just being polite," Ethan said quickly. "Humans say things like that all the time." "That," the doctor replied, "is a problem." The nurse on the bed groaned softly. Her eyes opened for a moment. She looked at Ethan, and then she turned her face away. Her skin glowed faint green. The doctor checked a nearby screen. His breath caught. "What is it?" someone asked. The doctor hesitated. Then he said, "Her status changed." "Change how?" He looked at Ethan again. "Her biomarkers registered recognition," he said. "Acceptance." Ethan shook his head. "Acceptance of what?" The doctor did not answer right away. Instead, he tapped the screen and projected the data into the air. A single word blinked beside the nurse's name. "Found." The room erupted. "That's impossible." "She never initiated." "He's human." Security alarms activated in the hallway outside. Ethan's heart started to race. "Okay," he said slowly, "someone needs to explain this right now." The doctor raised a hand, silencing the others. He leaned closer to Ethan. In our culture, he said, voice low, to comment on colors to see the soul. Ethan stared. And to say perfect, the doctor continued, is to accept responsibility. Ethan felt cold. I didn't mean any of that, he said. I don't even know her name. The nurse whispered something from the bed. The room went quiet again. What did she say? Someone asked. The doctor listened closely. She said, he replied, he spoke without fear. Ethan looked at her. She did not look back. The doctor straightened. Contact the council, he ordered. Immediately. Security officers entered the room. Ethan lay back on the bed, his mind spinning. All he had done was speak honestly. He had no idea that one simple human sentence had just triggered something ancient, something powerful, and something that could not be undone. Ethan did not sleep that night. The medical room was quiet again, but the silence felt wrong. 2 security officers stood near the door. They did not point weapons at him, but they never looked away. The nurse was gone, taken to another wing. No one told Ethan where. A soft light blinked above his bed. A screen showed his heart rate. It was higher than normal. Footsteps approached. The alien doctor returned, slower than before. His shoulders were tense. He carried a small datapad and dismissed the guards with a short gesture. You are not under arrest, the doctor said. Not yet. That doesn't make me feel better, Ethan replied. The doctor nodded. It should not. He pulled a chair close and sat there. You spoke a truth, the doctor said. But truth has weight. Ethan exhaled. I need you to explain everything. From the start. The doctor tapped his pad. An image appeared in the air. It showed the nurse's species, tall figures with glowing skin in many colors. Our race, the doctor said, does not use color as decoration. Ethan frowned. Then why wear colored uniforms? Uniforms reflect purpose, the doctor replied. But skin reflects state. He pointed to the image. Each color is emotion. Calm, fear, pain, trust. Ethan remembered how her skin had shifted when she collapsed. So when I talk about her color, you did not describe fabric, the doctor said. You described her inner state. Ethan swallowed, and when you said perfect, the doctor continued, you made a judgment. Humans judge everything, Ethan said quietly. Food, weather, music. Yes, the doctor replied, and that is why humans frighten us. Ethan looked up. Frighten you? You feel freely, the doctor said. You speak without filters, without rituals. He paused. In our culture, such words are only spoken during bonding. Ethan sat up. Bonding like marriage. The doctor hesitated. Bonding like life recognition. Ethan ran a hand through his hair. I didn't choose that. I know, the doctor said. She knows too. Ethan's chest tightened. Is she okay? The doctor nodded slowly. Physically, emotionally, she is overwhelmed. A new image appeared on the screen. Data lines moved across it. When a system processed your words, the doctor explained, it searched, registered you as a stabilizing presence. Because I said something nice. Ethan asked. Because you said it without fear, the doctor replied. Ethan leaned back. This is insane. To us, the doctor said calmly, it is ancient. He stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the stars beyond the station. She has never been bonded, he said. Not once. Why? Ethan asked. The doctor's voice lowered. She survived the border war. Her unit was lost. Her color never fully returned. Ethan remembered her dull blue skin. So, my words changed that. Yes. Ethan closed his eyes. That's not fair, he said. To her. Or me. No, the doctor agreed. It is not. A soft chime sounded. The door opened slightly. Another alien entered, wearing a darker uniform. Council notification sent. The alien said, they demand presence. The doctor nodded. Of whom? Ethan asked. Both of you, the doctor replied. Ethan's heart skipped. Both. The nurse requested it, the doctor said. Ethan looked surprised. She did? Yes. Why? The doctor looked at him closely. Because despite protocol, she trusts you. Ethan let out a small, nervous laugh. She barely knows me. The doctor gave a thin smile. Neither do we. And yet, here you are. The door opened again. The nurse stood there. She looked smaller now. Her skin was a soft green, steady and calm. Her eyes did not avoid Ethan this time. She bowed her head slightly. I did not choose this, she said quietly. Ethan shook his head. Neither did I. She looked relieved by that. But, she continued, I will not lie. Her eyes met his. When you spoke, she said, I felt seen, for the first time since the war. The room felt heavy. I'm sorry, Ethan said softly. If I hurt you. You did not hurt me, she replied. You woke me. The doctor cleared his throat. The council will not see it that way, he said. They will see risk. The nose straightened. Then I will speak. The doctor looked surprised. You are not required to. I know, she said. That is why it matters. She turned to Ethan. You should know, she added. Humans are not listed as compatible. Ethan raised an eyebrow. That's comforting. Her lips twitched slightly. Still, the system did not reject you. The alarms outside sounded again, low and distant. The council chamber is ready, the other alien said. The doctor looked at Ethan one last time. There are rules, he said. Rules humans were never told. Ethan nodded slowly. Then I guess, he said, it's time I learned them. The nurse stepped beside him, and together they walked toward a future neither of them had chosen, but neither could walk away from. The council chamber was colder than the medical wing. The floor was made of dark crystal. Tall seats rose in a wide circle, each one occupied by an alien elder. Their skin colors were muted and controlled. No flicker, no glow. Emotion was not welcome here. Ethan stood at the center of the room. The nurse stood beside him, her hands folded, her posture calm. Too calm. Ethan noticed something strange. She did not look afraid. The lead counselor leaned forward. His skin was a dull gray, the color of restraint. State your designation, he said. The nurse lifted her head. Medical Officer Lyra, she replied. K, Unit 7. Murmurs spread across the chamber. Ethan blinked. Lyra. So that was her name. You have violated protocol, the counselor continued. You allowed emotional recognition. Lyra did not deny it. I did not invite it, she said, but I did not reject it. That caused more whispers. The counselor's eyes shifted to Ethan. Human, he said, you spoke a forbidden phrase. I didn't know it was forbidden, Ethan replied honestly. Ignorance does not erase consequence, the counselor said. Ethan nodded. I understand that, but I won't pretend I meant harm. The counselor studied him. Why did you speak? He asked. Ethan hesitated. Then he answered simply, because it was true. The chamber fell silent. Truth. That word made many elders uncomfortable. The counselor turned back to Lyra. Your color has changed, he said. Explain. Lyra took a slow breath. For many cycles, she began, my color was dull. After the war, it never returned. Some elders shifted in their seats. The loss was great, the counselor said. Yes, Lyra replied, and silence followed. She looked down for a moment. In our culture, she continued, we are taught to control feeling, to endure quietly. Her skin glowed faint green. But humans do not endure quietly, she said. They speak. Ethan felt every eye turn toward him. When he spoke, Lyra went on. There was no ritual, no expectation, only honesty. The glow brightened slightly. That honesty reached me, she said. I did not collapse from weakness. I reacted from release. A low sound moved through the chamber. The counselor raised a hand. You suggest, he said, that suppression caused instability. Yes, Lyra answered. That is a dangerous idea, the counselor replied. Truth often is, she said calmly. Ethan glanced at her, surprised by her courage. The counselor leaned back. "Medical Officer Lyra," he said, "you are known for silence. You never spoke back. Not to superiors. Not to trauma." He paused. "Why speak now?" Lyra turned slightly toward Ethan, then back to the council. "Because," she said, "for the first time, I was addressed as whole." Her skin shifted again. Green deepened into a soft, steady light. Ethan felt a strange tightness in his chest. The counselor looked unsettled. "You risk emotional spread," he warned, "if others follow." "They will heal," Lyra interrupted. Gasps echoed. Interrupting a counselor was rare. The counselor's color darkened. "You are certain?" he asked coldly. Lyra nodded. "Yes." The counselor turned to Ethan. "You see," he said, "your species disrupts balance." Ethan met his gaze. "Or maybe," Ethan said carefully, "we just remind you what balance feels like." Another silence, longer this time. The counselor studied Ethan as if seeing him for the first time. "You are fragile," he said. "Your bodies break easily." Ethan smiled slightly. "True. You live short lives." "Also true. You feel too much." Ethan shrugged. "That's how we survive." The counselor looked away. "Medical Officer Lyra," he said, "if we allow this bond to continue, your future changes." "I know," she replied. "You may never return to emotional neutrality." "I do not wish to," she said. The words were simple, but powerful. The counselor closed his eyes briefly. "Human," he said, "do you seek this bond?" Ethan's heart beat faster. He looked at Lyra. Then he answered honestly. "I don't want to trap anyone," he said, "but I won't deny what happened." Lyra's glow steadied. The counselor exhaled slowly. "Temporary observation status," he declared. "Both subjects." The chamber reacted at once. Under supervision, the counselor continued. No escalation. No separation. Ethan released a breath he didn't know he was holding. Lyra bowed her head slightly. As they turned to leave, Ethan noticed something. Lyra walked taller. Her steps were firmer. She had always been strong. She had just never been allowed to show it. And for the first time in many cycles, the nurse who never spoke back had finally been heard. The waiting chamber was small and quiet. Ethan sat on a narrow bench. The walls were smooth metal, cold to the touch. A soft light floated above, changing slowly from white to pale blue. Across from him, Lyra stood near the wall. She did not sit. Her hands were calm at her sides. Her skin held a steady green glow. Not bright, not weak, balanced. Ethan noticed that. "You're different," he said carefully. Lyra turned her head slightly. "I am aware." "Is that bad?" She thought for a moment. "For the council," she said, "it is unfamiliar." A low tone echoed through the room. The door opened. "Enter," a voice commanded. The council chamber looked larger now. More elders were present. Their seats formed a full circle. The air felt heavy, like pressure before a storm. Ethan and Lyra stepped into the center. The lead counselor leaned forward. "Human," he said, "you are expected to speak first." Ethan blinked. "Me?" "Yes," the counselor replied. "State your apology." Ethan looked around. Every face watched him. Every color was muted. Controlled. He took a slow breath. "I'm sorry," he began. The elders relaxed slightly. "But," Ethan continued, "not for what I felt." The room stiffened. Lyra glanced at him, surprised. The counselor's skin darkened. "Explain," he said. Ethan stood straight. "I'm sorry that I didn't know your rules," he said. "I'm sorry that my words caused shock." He paused. "But I'm not sorry for speaking honestly." A sharp murmur spread through the chamber. The counselor raised his hand. "You were supposed to express regret," he said coldly, "not justification." Ethan nodded. "I get that. Humans do that too. But if I say sorry for seeing someone clearly, then it wouldn't be true." Silence fell again. Lyra's skin flickered, then steadied. The counselor turned to her. "Medical Officer Lyra," he said, "do you accept this apology?" Lyra lifted her chin. I accept his honesty, she replied. I do not require his regret. That caused a reaction. Several elders shifted. That is not your decision alone, the counselor said. No, Lyra replied calmly, but my state is. She placed a hand on her chest. For cycles, I functioned without color, she said. I served. I obeyed. I healed others. Her voice remained soft. But I was not whole. The counselor narrowed his eyes. And now? He asked. Now, Lyra said, I am present. Her skin glowed brighter green. Not loud, not uncontrolled. Alive. The council chamber felt warmer. This change, an elder said, could spread. Yes, Lyra replied. So can healing. Ethan felt a strange pride. The counselor stood. You speak of healing, he said, but bonds bring risk. Attachment brings loss. Lyra did not look away. I already survived loss, she said. This did not weaken me. The counselor turned to Ethan again. You humans, he said, do not understand restraint. Ethan nodded. True, we fail at it often. Then why do you continue? Ethan thought for a moment. Because feeling nothing, he said, hurts more. The words were simple. They landed hard. The counselor looked unsettled. For our people, he said slowly, emotional distance preserves order. Ethan met his gaze. For mine, he replied, connection keeps us alive. The chamber filled with quiet tension. Finally, the counselor raised both hands. Enough, he said. This council expected an apology. He looked at Ethan. You gave truth instead. Then he looked at Lyra. And you gave challenge. The elders waited. We will not dissolve this bond, the counselor announced. But we will not endorse it. A pause. Observation status remains. Ethan exhaled. However, the counselor continued. Medical Officer Lyra will be reassigned. Lyra stiffened. Reassigned, she asked. To limit influence, the counselor said. You will step away from patient care. Ethan's heart sank. That's not fair, he said before thinking. The counselor's eyes flashed. Silence, he warned. Lyra raised her hand gently. It is acceptable, she said. I will comply. Ethan looked at her. You shouldn't have to. She looked back at him. I am no longer invisible, she said quietly. That matters more. The counselor studied her for a long moment. Very well, he said. The session is concluded. As the chamber doors opened, Ethan felt the weight lift slightly. They walked out together. In the corridor, Lyra finally spoke again. They wanted regret, she said. Yeah, Ethan replied. I guess they got something worse. She tilted her head. Worse? He smiled faintly. Truth. For the first time, Lyra smiled too, and the color around her did not fade. The observation wing was far from the busy parts of the station. No patients. No alarms. Only long windows and slow-moving stars. Ethan stood near the glass, watching space drift by. Lyra sat on a low bench behind him. Her reassignment had taken effect immediately. No tools. No uniform duties. Just waiting. You should be angry, Ethan said after a while. Lyra looked up. At whom? At them, he replied. The council. Lyra considered this. Anger would change my color, she said. I am learning to choose when it does. Ethan smiled slightly. That's healthy. She studied him. Is that what humans call it? Yeah, he said. Most of the time. Silence settled between them, but it was not heavy. It felt calm. Lyra spoke first. The council fears you, she said. Ethan laughed softly. I'm injured, unarmed, and stuck in an observation wing. Yes, she replied. And still, you frighten them. He turned to face her. Why? Lyra stood and joined him by the window. Because humans do not hide what they feel, she said. You do not wait for permission. Ethan shrugged. We don't always know better. That uncertainty, Lyra said, is dangerous to rigid systems. She touched the glass. Our history teaches control, she continued. Emotion is managed, contained. And what happens when it's not? Ethan asked. Lyra's skin dimmed slightly. War, she said. Collapse. Loss. Ethan nodded slowly. We've had that too. She looked at him, surprised. Your species still chooses openness, she said. Because closing off didn't save us, Ethan replied. It just made us lonely. Lyra absorbed that. A soft chime sounded behind them. A projection appeared in the air. Data files opened. Council archives. Why are you seeing this? Ethan asked. Lyra's eyes widened. I did not request access. The files began to scroll. Human records. Alliance logs. First contact reports. They are studying you, Ethan said. Yes, Lyra replied. They always are. One file paused. Human behavioral risk analysis. Lyra read silently. Humans form bonds rapidly, she said. Often across species. Often without strategic gain. Ethan smiled. Sounds right. They offer care without obligation, she continued. They sacrifice for individuals, not systems. Her voice softened. They do not suppress grief, she read. They express it. Ethan's smile faded. They consider vulnerability a strength. Lyra looked at him. That is why you scare the stars, she said. Ethan crossed his arms. We're not trying to scare anyone. I know, she replied. That is what makes it worse. The file shifted. Another report appeared. Case study, Medical Officer Lyra. Lyra inhaled sharply. The report detailed her service record, her emotional suppression, her color decline. Then it stopped. A new line blinked. Post-contact change. Stabilization detected. Lyra's skin glowed softly. They are measuring me, she whispered. Yes, Ethan said. And they are seeing that you're not broken. Lyra's hands trembled slightly. For cycles, she said, I believed silence was strength. Ethan turned to her. Silence can be rest, he said, but it shouldn't be a prison. She met his eyes. When you spoke, she said, you did not demand anything. I just said what I saw, he replied. That, she said, is what frightens them. The projection disappeared. The room felt smaller. I don't want to be a problem, Ethan said quietly. Lyra shook her head. You are not the problem. She stepped closer. You are a mirror, she said, and they do not like what they see. Ethan looked back at the stars. Humans don't conquer space, he said. We just connect. Lyra's color deepened, warm and steady. That connection, she said, is more powerful than weapons. A voice echoed through the room. Medical Officer Lyra. Both turned. A council aide stood at the entrance. The council requests your presence, the aide said. Immediately. Lyra straightened. Ethan felt tension rise. Is something wrong? He asked. The aide hesitated. The council has reviewed the data, he said. They have a question. What question? Ethan asked. The aide looked directly at him. They wish to know, he said, if this change can spread. Lyra's skin glowed brighter. She looked at Ethan. Now they are truly afraid, she said. Ethan nodded. Then, he replied softly, maybe it's time they learned why. Together, they walked toward the council chamber again, not as patient and nurse, but as proof that some things were never meant to stay silent. The council chamber was full again. Every seat was occupied. The air felt tight, like a held breath. Colors stayed muted, locked in control. Ethan and Lyra stood in the center. This time, Lyra stepped half a pace forward. The council noticed. The lead counselor's eyes narrowed. Medical Officer Lyra, he said, you were summoned to answer one question. Lyra nodded. I am ready. The counselor gestured. The data shows change. Stability. Growth. He paused. Can this spread? Silence followed. Ethan watched Lyra carefully. Her skin shifted, not with fear, but with thought. A calm green, steady and warm. Yes, Lyra said. A wave of reaction moved through the chamber. That is unacceptable, one elder said. It threatens order, said another. Lyra did not step back. It threatens stagnation, she replied. The lead counselor raised his hand sharply. You are overstepping, he warned. Lyra lifted her chin. For cycles, she said, I stood in silence. I followed protocol. I served without voice. Her gaze moved across the elders. You trusted me to heal others, she continued. But you never asked if I was healing. The chamber stilled. Ethan felt a surge of respect. You fear spread, Lyra said. But what spreads is not chaos. She placed a hand on her chest. It is clarity. An elder leaned forward. You were altered by a human. Lyra nodded. Yes. That makes you compromised. No, she replied calmly. It makes me honest. The lead counselor stood. Human, he said. Did you intend this influence? Ethan answered without delay. No, he said. I intended kindness. A murmur spread. Kindness is not neutral, the counselor said. Ethan met his gaze. Neither is fear, he replied. The counselor stiffened. Lyra, he said, if this bond continues, you will change others. Yes, she replied. By example. The counselor's voice lowered. Are you prepared to accept the cost? Lyra did not hesitate. Yes. A long silence followed. The counselor closed his eyes briefly. When you collapsed, he said, we believed you were weak. Lyra's skin glowed brighter. I was releasing, she said, not breaking. The counselor looked at the data once more. Human emotional impact is measurable, he admitted. Unexpected. Ethan shifted his weight. We've been hearing that a lot. A few elders reacted with discomfort. The counselor raised his hand again. Enough, he said. This council must decide. The lights dimmed slightly. After a long pause, the counselor spoke. The bond will not be dissolved. Ethan exhaled. Nor will it be hidden, the counselor continued. The chamber stirred. Medical Officer Lyra, he said, you will be granted choice. Lyra blinked. Choice. Yes, the counselor said. You may return to controlled service, or you may step forward. Step forward how? Ethan asked. The counselor looked at him. As a bridge, he said. The word echoed. Lyra's breath caught. You would have me speak, she asked. Yes, the counselor replied. Observe, teach, report. Lyra thought for a moment. Then she shook her head. I will speak, she said, but I will not suppress. The counselor considered this. Agreed, he said. The chamber reacted. This is unprecedented, an elder whispered. So was first contact, the counselor replied. He turned to Ethan. Human, he said, you are free to leave the station. Ethan blinked. Free. Yes, the counselor said, but if you remain, you do so by choice. Ethan looked at Lyra. She met his eyes. He smiled faintly. I guess, he said, I've never been good at walking away. Lyra's color brightened. The counselor nodded once. So be it. As they left the chamber, Ethan felt something shift, not just in them, but in the station itself. Behind them, the council sat in silence. For the first time, not suppressing fear, but listening. And in that moment, the nurse who once never spoke back had changed the future of her people. Not with force, not with rebellion, but by standing up and telling the truth. Time moved differently after the council's decision. Not faster, not slower, just clearer. Ethan healed. His injuries faded from pain to memory. The medical bandages came off one by one. The machines around his bed grew silent. But he did not leave. The council had given him freedom. He chose to stay. Lyra's days changed too. She no longer wore the green uniform of a standard nurse. Instead, she wore a simple silver band on her arm, a sign of liaison duty. She moved between rooms, meetings, and species. She spoke. At first, her voice was quiet, careful, but it did not shake. Other aliens watched her closely, some with curiosity, some with fear. Her color stayed steady, a soft, living green. The station felt different, Conversations lasted longer. Eyes met more often. Silence was no longer forced. One cycle, a junior medic stopped Lyra in the corridor. "How do you keep your color?" he asked. Lyra answered simply, "I allow it." That answer spread faster than any report. Ethan noticed a change most in small moments. A guard who smiled. A technician who spoke openly about stress. A doctor who paused before suppressing emotion. The stars outside did not change. The people inside did. One day, Ethan stood at the main viewport with a small travel case at his feet. His ship was repaired. It was time. Lyra joined him quietly. "You are leaving," she said. "Yes," Ethan replied. "For now." She nodded. "I knew this moment would come," she said. They stood together, watching distant systems drift by. "When you first spoke to me," Lyra said, "I thought I was failing." Ethan looked at her. "Because you felt something." "Yes," she said. "We are taught that feeling is loss of control." Ethan smiled softly. "Sometimes it's the opposite." Her skin glowed gently. "You never tried to change me," she said. "You never asked." "I didn't know I could," Ethan replied. "That is why it worked," she said. Silence followed. Not heavy. Peaceful. Ethan picked up his case. "I should go," he said. Lyra nodded. Then he paused. He looked at her. "You still look perfect in this color," he said. The words hung in the air. No alarm sounded. No one panicked. Lyra's color deepened, but it did not flicker. She smiled. "And now," she said, "I know why." They walked together to the departure gate. As Ethan stepped onto the ramp, Lyra stopped. "One more thing," she said. He turned. "You did not conquer us," she said. "You did not save us." Ethan waited. "You reminded us," she finished, "that we were alive." Ethan nodded. "That's kind of our thing," he said. The gate closed slowly. Lyra watched the ship depart. Her color remained. Strong. Steady. Unfading. Back in the council chamber, reports updated automatically. Emotional stability index, rising. Cross-species trust, increasing. No alarms triggered. No protocols failed. The stars remained silent. But something fundamental had changed. Humans did not rule the galaxy. They did not dominate the stars. They simply spoke honestly. And sometimes that was enough to change everything.